away with what they did because nobody cared. Sure, Kaitlynne Tatum knows I'm not schizophrenic, but she never said a goddamn thing to anybody but me. I got railroaded by the courts because all my predators had to do was pretend I'm schizophrenic. That's all they had to do. And all of my rights as a human being went right out the window. Kaitlynne Tatum with one fucking sentence could have done something to change that. Just simply by telling the fucking truth. Instead of trying to push someone to commit suicide. You know how you push somebody to commit suicide? You pretend to care about them. When they need help because they're being fucking abused and they come to you and you treat them like Kaitlynne Tatum has treated me for 6 years and Brandon Ratner for 6 years, fuck nice. I don't need nice people. I need people who aren't fucking pussies. If there's always some excuse why you can't tell the truth, why you can't come forward, I mean, what the fuck? And you want to say, I care. No, in 6 years you have not cared. In 6 years you have not bothered to find out what's going on. Between May and when Kaitlynne Tatum finally got back to me, I sent her plenty. She didn't look at any of it. Between May and when I called her out, and May is not the first time she was gonna, but fucking didn't. Did she go back through and listen to all the stuff that I sent her or look at it? No, she got a hold of me and tried to make me feel like shit for going to a friend for help, as always. Now she's trying to sort of be caring, but at the same time, her assumptions versus the situation itself are not the same. That's why you need to listen to the victim. You know, if people would have spoken up in court and to the police where it mattered and actually kept record of it. Lots of people claim that they did with zero evidence. They claim they sent an email. Where's the email? They claim that they called up this department or that department. Did you record the phone call? No. Did you write it down? No. Did you try going in with me to turn it in? No. You did literally nothing then, except lie to me. You've got zero proof of what you claim. I've got proof that you made those claims. I've got proof from the cops that claims that you guys are full of shit. Cops wrote down over and over and over again excuses for you. Those excuses denied me of my legal and human rights, and you don't give a shit. You want to talk about how you're trying to change things for the marginalized in our society? How does ignoring a victim for 6 years, how does that help us at all? You're going to speak out in general about how it's wrong. But we change this in court. This is how we change things. I've got hundreds of people telling me the same things over and over again. Their fears of coming forward. Well, imagine if those hundreds of people weren't liars. The cops say you're liars. When you all told me how afraid you were to come forward, when you said, I'm afraid of losing my job, I'm afraid of losing my kids, I spoke up about your fears. I spoke up. You wouldn't help me for whatever reason it is. I spoke up about that reason. Brandon Ratner is recorded on my channel admitting to a lot of the stuff that I said. Yes, they were absolutely true. I told true stories. The stories I said about Brandon Ratner, the conversations with him prove it. The text messages with us prove it. When somebody finally claims that they're going to take the time to actually listen and try to understand, I get filled full of a whole bunch of their stuff that they dump on me first, followed by they don't have time and they dump a bunch of other stuff on me. And I'm like, holy shit! Wouldn't it be great to be able to do some of those things myself? Wouldn't it be nice to go out with my family? Wouldn't it be nice to go out with my friends clubbing and drinking? Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? What's more important there? What do you care about in that situation? Obviously, you care about your family. That's valid. Obviously, you care about going out and having fun. That's valid, but 6 years worth. See, that's the thing, is that I've been explaining from day one. Together. You're afraid of being recorded? Well, be fucking honest and forthright, and you won't have to be afraid. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Don't lie to me. Don't bullshit me. Then when you're angry with me, you'll believe anything anybody says about me. I've been asking you to look at evidence. Because that's how far it went along. You know, Kaitlynne Tatum, when I was having a problem over this situation, Kaitlynne Tatum told me, hey, come to my store. I'll talk to you about it. She wasn't able to. That's not my fault. That's not my choice. I did go. I did try to get the help. Her reasons for not showing up are her own reasons. But they're for certainly not the reasons that the cops said. See, I got to post up the evidence either way, whether she's my friend or not. Whether she tells the truth or not, I'm going to show it. Whether she decides that she's going to actually help or block me, I'm still going to show it. Don't trust any adult who wants you to keep secrets. And that's the thing with recording this shit. That's what the lawyers said to do, folks. You know what those recordings do? They keep people honest. But without you coming forward about the fact that I'm not schizophrenic, I can't show my evidence in court. The public pretenders, no, they don't have to do their jobs. You've been called mentally ill. How the hell are you going to change the hearts and minds of the people when it comes to marginalized society when you know somebody who fits 4 of the top 5 groups of most marginalized in the country, and you're going to blow him off for 6 years? How difficult is it to talk to me on the phone? How difficult is it when I tell you I've been abused to help me turn it in, because I am an at-risk adult and that is what's required by law? It is required by law. I've been posting up the laws, looking up the laws. I've been posting up the laws from coast to coast, posting up on my Facebook. Kaitlynne Tatum has been on my Facebook for a very long time. Probably close to 10 years now. Yes, I have changed a lot. Yes, I am not the same person that I was when I was Starbucks Sean. When I try to explain to you nicely what's going on, you blow me off for 6 years. I literally have to call you out publicly on your own fucking Facebook. I'm being abused, and you're looking the other way. Yes, I get that you have a life, and I get that you have a family. That's the thing. You could have quite simply, just admitted what it is that I have to post up on the internet. When you ask me a question like, who do I turn it into? Is there somebody that I can speak to? I tell you, yes. There's a lot of people. But also, you can't make it a situation where it's your word versus mine. We've got recording after recording with the police on why that doesn't work. Oh, it's your word versus hers. No, it's not. I've got evidence. But if I have to turn the evidence in alone, nobody looks. Nobody cares. My predators care, Kaitlynne. I'm trying to show you now 6 years worth of abuse. All of it could have been stopped, including multiple deaths by somebody like you who knew me in person. Fessing up. Am I schizophrenic or not? You know, I also sent you the thing with Marcia Estrada, so you can hear from a medical professional. But also you can listen to the fact that that medical professional also did not do her job. Meanwhile, you know, I get that I got an addiction too. I am addicted to cigarettes. I buy rolling papers so I can pull cigarettes out of the ashtrays and roll them into a cigarette because I'm an addict. I got a tobacco pipe for if I run out of papers. My papers are all gone. So I went into a dispensary and I bought some papers. Since I walked into a dispensary, does that mean I'm a drug dealer? Does that mean I'm a heroin addict? I don't freak out over nothing. When the people at Starbucks asked me for help with something, When there was an issue with homeless people and they wanted my help, how long did it take me to help them? If you actually care about someone, you make the time. If you actually care about someone, you don't want them to be harmed. But you know, we've taught girls that their help is supposed to be, they're supposed to tell us these pretty memes that might actually be true for them. And then, of course, there is the importance of physical affection. That's not just hugs. And by the way, that doesn't actually include sexual contact at all. That's a different set of chemicals that are released altogether. Your safety and your comfort have a lot to do with whether or not you are a depressed individual. If you are depressed, chances are you're in a shitty situation surrounded by shitty people who only know how to give negative attention, who only know how to pay attention to you when you're fucking up. Sure, you got straight A's in school. Great, wonderful. Your parents don't care. They're busy snorting coke. They're busy dealing shit. When you're one of those kids, it doesn't matter that you got straight A's. You forgot to knock before coming into your own house, and you got to see a whole bunch of people sitting around smoking crack. Sure, you got straight A's, but you're getting bitched at for not knocking first. How are you supposed to know you were supposed to knock on your own fucking door when you come home from school? How are you supposed to know that this day, among all of the days that you've come home from school, that this one day, your parents are going to be smoking crack with a bunch of people in the living room instead of smoking it in their bedroom with the shades drawn? People have unrealistic expectations of us. It doesn't matter how smart I am. A lot of y'all, that's your excuse too. I should be able to do this for myself because I'm smart. It doesn't matter how smart you are when you're called mentally ill, because they're pretending that you're schizophrenic. The point of the exercise is to discredit you so nobody has to do their jobs. They will only do their jobs if somebody shows that they care. Shows it by getting actively involved. Telling the truth. Is that too much to ask? Yes, apparently it is. You could have cut off this abuse before anybody ended up fucking dead. And you know what? It's not just Kaitlynne Tatum and Brandon Ratner. I mean, Brandon Ratner did plenty for me. Kaitlynne Tatum offered to do plenty for me without any follow-through. Sure, she finally eventually did it. When? When did she finally make a character reference? It was 2020. By then, she had already sealed my fate by allowing me to be treated like a schizophrenic and run over in the fucking courts. Her and every single other one of my so-called friends and family did that. People want to get pissed off when everybody just stands around and watches while they get beat up. fuck you, man. You're not my friend. You just stood around and watched. And those very same people, gonna do the same thing to me. Brandon Ratner went to a party, right? Now, Veronica Randall's his ex-girlfriend, and she's kind of nuts. When she doesn't get her way, she'll fucking take it out on whoever's local. Whoever is in the local vicinity. Her target of choice, she doesn't go out and seek a homeless person to take it out on. Her target of choice is whoever is in the fucking room at that point in time. And she doesn't see that as abusive. It's not abusive for her to do it. It's not abusive for these Christians to do these things to me. It's only a sin if I do it back. See, everybody's got some excuse that they can fall back on. They want to fall back on the law. Well, the law isn't actually on their side. So then they change their minds. They realize that lying to you about the law isn't going to work because you already looked it up, and they didn't. They just wanted to bullshit you. So now they go to the give it to God, give it to God. Well, you're religious all of a sudden? Where did that come from? And then you've got the added excuse of, oh, well, I'm not Jesus. You say, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? And then when I ask you, what would Jesus do? Oh, well, I'm not Jesus. What a fucking cop-out. No matter what, there's always some excuse. Brandon Ratner goes to a party with his friend, Hippie Chris. This is a guy who is his friend and Veronica Randall's friend. Ain't no problem there. Chris invited Brandon Ratner to the party. Ain't no problem there. Brandon Ratner got to the party, and some girl who is friends with Veronica Randall wanted to victimize and chastise Brandon in front of God and everybody as if he'd done something wrong. Veronica Randall slandered his name, and he went to a party, and his friend Chris just sat there and watched. So Brandon did the intelligent thing, just like I did the intelligent thing. He left. And that was the end of it, other than his emotions on the matter. That woman and her friends did not come out of the party and pursue him. When he went home to Loveland, they didn't call their friends in Loveland and slander his name all night long, guaranteeing that people were going to harm him as soon as they knew where he was at. Brandon Ratner, he's recorded on my channel, first of all, admitting to being a part of the situations that I said he was a part of. Admitting that I did go to him for help. The cops who I was trying to turn in got to investigate themselves, and instead of investigating themselves, they committed felonies to help my other predators get away. Now, the thing at Starbucks, you know, those ladies were nice to me, but they were nice because it was their job. Them sending me friend requests, I don't know what that's about. We're not friends outside of the workplace. They don't get a hold of me. They don't ask if I want to go do something fun. We don't go do friend things. We don't have conversations. They don't go, you know what? It's fucking Friday night. Between getting drunk tonight and talking to Sean, I'd rather talk to Sean. Now, there's a lot of people who want to use what I have to do as an excuse for why they didn't to begin with. A lot of people want to use the fact that I do record everything now to say, oh, well, I just never called you because I heard you record everything. No, I should have. That's what the attorneys told me to do, and I was trying to learn how to do that. So that I could record the actual situations. So that it wasn't their word versus mine, but by calling me mentally ill and not one of my friends coming forward, stepping up and saying, hey, he's not schizophrenic, you need to listen to him. This is not okay. When they have those mental health marches, you care about Elijah McClain, not because he's dead, but because he's black. Never mind the fact that he's autistic like me, which is actually the reason he was fucking killed. He was exhibiting autistic traits. No, he wasn't. He was autistic, but he was showing traits of abuse. Traits of having PTSD. He already knew what was going on. He already knew the fucking program, same as I do. He already knew what they were doing to him because he had been through it before. And being as his parents were black, he even had the added benefit of something that you don't give to us white kids, okay? You don't explain to us white kids who are autistic that the cops will fucking shoot us. We can't run like our friends do. We can't run away. The cops will fucking shoot us. A lot of you white parents need to pay attention to your own kids. All right, your child is autistic. Your child stims. People will confuse him stimming or her stimming for drug use. Tourette's syndrome is very commonplace with people who have autism. That means they may do this with their eyes. It might be sporadic. It might be just once in a while. But we've got Hollywood. And Hollywood, it doesn't paint us very good, does it? In Hollywood, how many of these Hollywood villains are number one twitchy? They got a twitch. All of them got to have a twitch, don't they? Now, you guys who watch that Breaking Bad, you get to notice that those tweakers, they're not quite tweaker enough to be tweakers. Some of y'all, you say, hey, you need to get away from those people. When you're poor, you don't have a choice. All right? You fucking hide out. That's what you do. When you've got your friends who say, hey, why don't you go out and do something fun with your friends? Thanks. Brandon Ratner wanted to call me up. This is where me and Brandon Ratner stopped being friends. Through all of this, Brandon Ratner knew that there was a problem before Natalie was killed. Well before Natalie was killed. But he was having some problems with his girlfriend Veronica at the time. They broke up since then because he went home after work and some dude was dicking her. So, yeah, that's kind of a... Of course, he's the bad guy, right? He's the one that gets treated like shit at a party that he was invited to. But for him, that was the end of the world. You know what? He's able to walk away from that. I drove away from my fucked up situation like that. I didn't just drive away. I drove 1,700 miles away. Is that a stalking behavior? No, that shows that I was trying to get the fuck away from them. with Kaitlynne Tatum, to this day, here's the thing, is that she is a witness. She does know me. I was harmed by a lot of people who don't know me, who never met me, who wanted to slander my name, and Kaitlynne Tatum, let them do it. Let them get away with it. Let them harm me. Same thing with Brandon Ratner. There's a lot of situations through this that Brandon Ratner was a part of. If he was to work together with Kaitlynne Tatum, the two of them, just the two of them, could for surely get me a new court date in every one of my court dates, because in all of them, every single one of them, they wanted to use the mentally ill tag and slander to deny me my rights as a human being, to deny me my rights in court. Now here's the thing that Kaitlynne Tatum don't know. She knows I grew up in the system, but the whole time that I was there at Starbucks, the whole time I was there, I needed help. The whole time I was there, when they were giving me suggestions, well, they were saying, why don't you go do this and why don't you go do that? And I would explain to them, because I'm a disabled and homeless male. Somebody else has to give a shit. Someone else has to actually care about me. Oh, don't you have family or friends? No. Oh, Sean, that's hard to believe. Really? Is it hard to believe that Kaitlynne Tatum for 6 years would not actually try to find out with me? Would not actually call me to have an actual conversation? I started recording my friends because my friends wanted to keep secrets. They thought if they didn't tell these people that I'm not schizophrenic, that everything would be fine. No, these predators get away with doing what they're doing to me because you never bothered to try, unless there is a friend or family member who gives a shit. A friend or a family member. A friend or a family member. It also says you're supposed to turn this stuff in right away. There's a lot of these folks that say stuff like, well, you never got a hold of me when that happened. That's right. What did you do every other time I came to you? Nothing. Why the fuck would I keep going to you if you don't do nothing? If I got 50 situations that I was abused in, and you say, hey, next time it happens, you get a hold of me, and I get a hold of you. And you say, hey, next time it happens, get a hold of me. And I get a hold of you. And the next time it happens, same thing. Same thing. Well, next time. Always next time. Always next time, isn't it? Then there's the cops saying that I wasn't trying to get help. Kaitlynne Tatum, just the messages between her and I that I've had to post up show that I was trying to get help. I mean, hell, the screensaver on here is a message from Kaitlynne Tatum about me not being schizophrenic. But that was in a message between her and I. It wasn't in a conversation to the police. It wasn't in a police report that I have a copy of to show that she did those things. She's not speaking to my public pretenders. And before you try going and saying, well, that's not her fault, you know what? It's not my fault either. But we can do something about it now. We can get a new court date in literally all of my court dates just by Kaitlynne Tatum or Brandon Ratner helping me to turn in this shit. You know I'm not schizophrenic. You know I have reached out to you for help. That's what my predators, that's what their entire cases are built on. Pretending I'm schizophrenic and didn't try to get help. Meanwhile, there's lots of stuff that Brandon Ratner actually did. He actually did those things. Well, the police said that I wasn't trying to get help and that people wouldn't help me. People were trying. Everything except what's effective. Once we've made those efforts, and we have made them together, and we have evidence of the situation, we can turn it in together. I've got thousands of recordings for a reason. No matter what you did for me, if you didn't come forward about it, it didn't happen. That's how law enforcement plays it off. You don't care about the homeless. Your homeless friends are not your friends. They're the people that you ignore. You feel sorry for them, so you sent them a friend request. That was a decade ago. Be a friend or don't. It's up to you. But if you're not going to be a friend, I'm going to call you out. Help me turn it in or leave. If I have to treat you a tiny portion of the way that I have been treated for the last 7 years, for you to get the point, good fucking riddance, god damn it. People want to tell me about burning bridges. No, there ain't no bridge there. There is no foundation there at all. There's your lady friends that you go out drinking with, you go out clubbing with, you go on vacation to fucking Miami with. You post up 3 different vacations to Cancun in the last 6 years. That's just your vacations to Cancun with your sorority sisters. Like, holy fuck, how many years can a woman go to college? No, that wasn't Kaitlynne Tatum, by the way. That lady is actually going to college. She's going to college on a scholarship from the system, not Kaitlynne. Oh, she might be. I don't know. I don't know a whole hell of a lot about Kaitlynne. The stuff I do know is the stuff that she let me know. But there's a difference between being somebody's friend and being an acquaintance. There's a lot of situations where people said that they were going to help me, but then somebody in their family got fucked up on drugs and did something stupid. And then they tell me, oh, well, I can't help you. You know, my daughter broke into somebody's vehicle and now I got a bunch of court stuff with that I got to deal with. Or Joshua Eichelberger, I got to fucking get another protection order against him. Like, shit, you weren't supposed to have him in the house or around your kids to begin with. Lucky for Miss Peaches, that evidence is still up. I still have that evidence. She can still gain access to that evidence, and she can still turn in Joshua Eichelberger because that's child abuse. I didn't even use his name, and she heard that video and knew exactly who I was talking about. She called me up. That's on my Facebook or on my YouTube channel here. 6 years of evidence. If you look up the series Computaco 1, Computaco 2, I think it goes all the way up to Computaco 12. That's me trying to find my computer up there in Tacoma, Washington. Just one of many places that I had to flee to get away from abuse. Because you know what? People still get to pretend like I'm schizophrenic. And no matter what they want to do to me, they can do it again and again and again and again. Because Brandon Ratner doesn't care if they treat me like I'm schizophrenic. He's not going to come forward in court. He expects me to just take his word for it. Here's the difference between hearsay and you admitting to the shit. If I tell them Brandon Ratner told me, that's just hearsay unless you can verify it. If Brandon shows up and actually verifies it, that is verifiable fucking evidence. If I have it recorded, it is verifiable fucking evidence. All these people saying they want to help me, but they're afraid of being recorded. Well, don't do anything that you don't want recorded. Be professional. A lot of these police officers were unprofessional. There's a reason that they don't want this evidence in court. There's a reason they keep assaulting me. There's a reason they press false charges on me when I try to turn them in. There's a reason that I speak up on Facebook and on YouTube about who I'm trying to turn in before I do it. So that my intention is known. Here's the thing, when people think that you're schizophrenic, they don't listen. They don't listen. Just like if you're homeless, they don't listen. Or if you're a male being abused, they don't listen. It's always them talking over you. You are trying to get help with abuse that you're going through. And you get to hear some female friend of yours telling you it's not so bad because 100 and something years ago, women couldn't vote. Shit, just 75 years ago, I couldn't vote. 75 years ago, I wouldn't have been allowed to vote. Why is that? They don't let crazy people vote. And you guys treat somebody who's got Tourette syndrome or somebody who's autistic as if they're crazy, as if they're delusional. When I explain to people, hey, this is the reason that it has to be done this way. I've spoken to lawyers. They have given me the lowdown. I'm called mentally ill. All right? The first thing I need is friends and family. That is who I am supposed to go to. I am supposed to go to my safety network. The problem is my safety network was in Boulder, but out of sight, out of mind. I'm not there, so I don't matter. You don't give me a second thought. With Brandon Ratner, as much as it hurt him emotionally to go to that party and for Hippie Chris to basically just let it happen. And Brandon Ratner, how shitty he felt. How shitty Chris made him feel. It was Chris being complacent, Chris not caring, Chris not speaking up. Chris invited him to the party and then just watched him be berated. With the possibility of violence from multiple people at that party, and Chris didn't say a word. And Brandon bitched about that for over a week. And I got sick of it. I mean, shit, Brandon, I'm going through that everywhere I go on a much bigger level. And it's not just a maybe getting violent. No, people are getting violent with me. This isn't just a Veronica Randall spread a few rumors. No, this is worldwide, Brandon Ratner. This is worldwide, Kaitlynne Tatum. I got phone calls with Tony DeStassi, and he ain't happy about it, but he had every opportunity to come forward and tell the truth. King of Nickels as well. King of Nickels didn't have a whole lot of involvement. Nicole Peralta did. She was my therapist in Nebraska. People say you need to seek professional help. There is no such thing as professional help without a friend or a family member who gives a shit. Without civilian oversight, they can ride the clock and just take your tax dollars. That's why you have to get involved. If I'm trying to turn in a police officer, and that police officer says that I'm schizophrenic to the hospitals, you know I'm not schizophrenic. The hospitals know that he is not qualified to diagnose me as schizophrenic. They're just taking his word for it. Meanwhile, Brandon Ratner, the way that he wanted to be about Hippie Chris over one house that he can't go to, one house that he has to worry about. Now, I don't know what rumors in specific Veronica Randall started. I do know that she was abusive as hell to him. I also know that she's half his size. I know that she was not loyal to him, and she was constantly accusing him of cheating. Or constantly asking me if I think he's cheating. I don't fucking know. I'm not having sex with him. All these people that I go to for help, before I'm even able to tell them what I need help with, they're already filling up most of this precious time. They don't have a lot of it. They've got to go to work. They got to go to work in like an hour and a half. So I got an hour and 10 minutes of their time. So they will tell me 30 times that they don't have much time. Well, the longer you do that, the more you're rushing me, the more fucked up the situation's going to be, and the more issues I'm going to have with communication. You got to hear on multiple occasions in the last few days where obviously I am stressed to the max. My car isn't legal. I can't take care of myself. I am required to go through a bunch of hoops that I need this vehicle for. My physical abilities hurt me every day. It hurts me to walk. It hurts me to sit. It hurts me to get up. It hurts me. I can't take care of myself. But instead of people who know me coming forward, only my predators get heard because only my predators are trying to get heard. When you ask me if there's somebody to send it to, yes, there is. Why don't you call me and talk to me? When you say, hey, you know what, I don't want to do that because you might record it. I have to record it now. I have to. You and every single other person who I went to for help, you and every single other person let me down. You didn't come forward. You let me get treated like I was schizophrenic for saying I went to you for help. The people at Starbucks, when it came to actually helping, no, they weren't going to actually help. They weren't going to actually do friend shit. Starbucks people don't go do friend shit with hobos. After I hurt my back, there was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl named Devin. Real nice lady who worked at the Starbucks. And I'd had a lot of my loved ones that had ended up dead, and my back was screwed up, and I needed help. And the people at Starbucks, there was a few of them that said that they would help me with various stuff because I really needed the help. But they didn't follow through because I'm just a homeless person. I don't actually matter like your actual friends do. We don't go do things like you and your actual friends do. Our relationship at Starbucks wasn't a boyfriend-girlfriend thing. It wasn't a chatty Cathy best friend thing. It was a Sean keeps you safe and Sean tells you jokes. Sean also keeps everybody else safe and tells them jokes. And you know, through all that helping of others, I needed help myself. And I'd hope that just one of these people who told me, hey man, if you ever need my help, just let me know. Man, you just saved my life. I do mean that literally. Sean, you just saved my life. If you ever need anything, it doesn't matter what it is. If you ever need anything, let me know. How about speak up and tell the world who I am? Yeah, absolutely tell them who I am now. Tell them what an asshole that I have been. And then you tell them why. You tell them who I used to be. You tell them who I used to be. I was nice. I was kind. I was polite. And I protected people. But nobody protected me. If the cops came into Starbucks and fucked with me, those folks were just going to watch, and they did. They said, we won't let anything bad happen to you, Sean. You keep us safe, we'll keep you safe. But then they didn't. Well, here we are. We got some friggin' nut job. What do we do with these guys? Take a screenshot. Oh, come on now. There you go. And then what do we do to these assholes? We click on it. This channel. That's the thing, Kaitlynne, is that I need help. It's not just predators on the internet. It is predators in real life. Everywhere that I go, I've got a YouTube channel full of it. A YouTube channel full of me trying to get help. A YouTube channel full of me getting harassed in real life. And you don't give a fuck. And neither did Brandon. You don't care if I kill myself over this abuse. You don't care that your idea of helping is to send me to people who are going to be predatory. Because you're not there. Because you're not involved. I can't believe that you're going to actually try making these calls with me when in 6 years you have not called me once. When did I start recording my friends? After I'd been abused for almost 2 years. Tried to get help for almost 2 years. Natalie she'd been dead almost a full year. I started recording my friends because I was tired of them lying to me. I was tired of them telling me that they care and then ignoring me for years. If I'm coming to you for help about abuse, it is important. You have allowed 6 years of abuse to happen to me. Because you didn't give a shit 6 years ago. You have not, in 6 years, even tried finding out what's going on, or why your words are fucking important. Yeah, thank you very much for finally writing a character reference, Kaitlynne Tatum. Thank you for writing it in 2020. Years after it was already too fucking late to make a goddamn difference. Thank you for blowing me off while I was physically abused repeatedly. Psychologically and physically tortured by law enforcement. But you didn't give two shits, Kaitlynne. You didn't give two shits, Brandon. What was important to you? The stuff that is feeling good in your real life. Things that I don't have. Between helping me and helping my predators get away, you helped my predators get away. For Brandon Ratner chasing vagina, and I get it wasn't just about the vagina. He was lonely. He's attracted to women. He wants physical attention. And you know that physical attention also includes your voice. The sound of your voice, the sound of a familiar voice, and you would deprive me of even that. And then you don't care that your assumptions, which are projected every time you type a suggestion, you don't get that your assumptions are so far off base and far removed from the reality of it. And like that lady this morning saying that men don't get targeted by these women groups. Yes, we do. Men have no rights. Zero rights. I have been targeted by a lot of these women's groups. Us girls gotta stick together. That's right. That's right, you do. It's okay for women to destroy a man's life by breaking many, many, many laws. It's okay to do this because as a man, you aren't actually going to have any real friends. No matter what it is, drinking on the weekend is more important than stopping abuse. Sure, you could have come forward in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and now in 2022. But you didn't. You let me be harmed over a false narrative. You let people hurt me. You intentionally and knowingly and willingly showed yourself to not give a shit by your actions. By not looking at what's going on, by not listening to me about what's going on, by not looking at the evidence, by ignoring me for months or years on end, and the help that I needed, you never provide. Ever. It's like that analogy that I give about a person having diabetes. So you got diabetes, right? And you need special shoes because your feet are going to rot and you're going to need to have them amputated. So, of course, you need these special shoes. And you let your friends know, hey, I need these special shoes and I need them in the next 2 weeks. If I don't get these shoes in the next 2 weeks, they're going to amputate my feet. And you tell them what the consequences are if they don't help how you're asking. I need these shoes. I can't provide them for myself. So then, it's been a week, and you're trying not to pester them, but you really need these shoes. Your feet are getting worse. You really don't want to lose your feet and have them amputated because you don't have any support. You know that you're not going to have any support as a disabled person with no feet because you have no support already. And here you are. Your friend says they'll help you out with these new shoes. These special shoes that you need, right? Well then, you haven't pestered them, but there's a timeline. There's a time limit. You've got 2 weeks. After a week, you get a hold of them and they say, hey, you need to be patient. All right, I'm trying to be patient. But then, of course, you got 3 days left. Come on, when are you going to help? You said, you promised. And here I am. I need these shoes. I'm going to start calling other people because I really do need these shoes. Then you go, oh, well, I thought someone else was going to help you with it. No, they weren't. You were just trying to make it so that you didn't have to keep your word. Any excuse not to keep your word. Oh, I thought this person was going to. You thought? No, you fucking lied. You didn't think that at all. You were looking for an excuse to dip out. You don't give a fuck if my feet are cut off. Then, 6 months after my feet are off, you want to offer me, oh, well, we can get you those shoes now. I don't have any fucking feet, stupid. They cut off my feet after 2 weeks. I told you there was a time limit. There's a reason I told you there's a time limit. Oh, well, you never told me that. Well, I got recordings of me telling you that. I had recordings of you saying, oh, I understand, Sean. Now, the worst situation is the ones who want to get those shoes 6 months after you've had your feet amputated. And they want to say, hey, Sean, I brought you some shoes. Let's see you put them on. I don't have any fucking feet, asshole. Oh, why are you being negative? I did what you wanted. I helped you out. I got you the shoes. And now I want a photo op. Sean, I want to take a picture of you wearing those shoes. Come on, Sean, you needed those shoes, didn't you? Well, I got you the shoes. Put them on. Put them on what? My head? You want me to wear them as fucking mittens? No, I got a different set of problems now because you fucking wasted my goddamn time. You fucking lied to me. Your promises were fucking empty. Now I got no feet. Now I got to figure out a different way to get into the Dual County Courthouse. Now I got to find a different way to go into the Lutheran church for a friend's funeral. Now I got to get some assistance like Jeff Baldridge got, but his assistance is his mom, and she's older than dirt. No offense. He's got a lot of help and a lot of support in that town because people can see his disability. They can see he's in a wheelchair. You don't see what I'm going through. You don't care what I'm going through. Is it that fucking complicated to speak up? Is it really? No, it's not. I speak up every day. Don't tell me stories about yourself if you want them to be kept a secret. If you're going to help me, keep in mind you're not helping me by stopping me in the middle of what I'm trying to say and asking 10,000 questions that are unrelated. You're not helping me by talking over me and telling me a bunch of stories about yourself. You're not helping me by giving me advice after wasting all of that time. Then you want to tell me how frustrated you are, and you're allowed to be frustrated. And I'm expected to listen, but when I express my frustrations and I tell you the consequences for me, for you not to actually give a shit, you say, don't blame me, stop blaming me, it's not my fault. Well, that's the pot calling the kettle black. When Brandon Ratner, when his brother disappeared, this is after literally months of Brandon Ratner, every time it comes to coming forward and telling the truth. Did I tell the truth or no, Brandon Ratner? Well, he can't because he's trying to chase some other vagina, trying to have a relationship. He's like, no, I'm just trying to help this girl move. But, I'm kind of hoping for, Jesus Christ, dude. See, that's what sucks about having a fucked up back. I mean, between having Brandon Ratner, who's helping you because he's got ulterior motives, and me helping because I genuinely want you to be safe, between helping me out and helping out a woman who's going to manipulate him by utilizing that, by pretending that he might stand a chance. He did that with a lady who was going to Texas. See, that's where one of the situations ended up heading south. They always head south over a woman he's chasing, always. Sure, he could tell the truth. He could come forward, but there's another vagina to chase. And yes, he does help people out of the goodness of his heart, but these women that he's helping out, he has hopes and expectations that you need to not have if you're going to help a woman out. See, here's the thing. There are lots of women who will have sex with you because they're expected to. You help them, and this is the accepted payment or expected payment for a lot of guys. So when she has sex with you, it's not because she likes you. It's because she's trying to give you the expected payment. Of course, there have been a lot of women who tried to give me the expected payment, and I was like, that's not why I helped you. I also didn't help you to get dinner, but I'm thankful for the dinner. I'll accept the dinner. But no, this is dirty. That kind of payment is dirty. It gives the predatory men who do that the wrong impression. It gives them the impression that it's okay. And then the guys that, they would help you out of their goodness, their heart, even if you were 450 pounds. But between the 450-pound woman and the pretty one, you're going to probably help the pretty one first, huh? She matters more because she's prettier. When that guy, he's hoping for a relationship. He's hoping you actually care about him. He's hoping to get rid of his lonelies too. But you had sex as a payment. This is your thank you to him for helping you move. But he's not taking it that way. You've led him on emotionally because you want his help with that. And that's the most screwed up part with that, is that Brandon was going to help me, and then he couldn't keep his word because he had to, what? He was led on by a woman who wanted his help. She led him on to believe that, she might give him a chance. It's a maybe thing. A maybe. No, a maybe doesn't mean pursue. Now, I'm not speaking for women when I say that. I'm saying that, yeah, maybe is a cop-out. It's always a cop-out in those situations. Kind of like open-ended help. Like, you need those shoes in the next 2 weeks, and they'll help you. You say, when? Well, when I get around to it. When I get around to it. Always non-committal. How about at 11 o'clock in the morning? How about tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning we do this? But even if I set that up at 11 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to answer your phone. 3 days later, when I am frustrated, I'm like, hey, we had 3 days to get this done. It's not done. I'm screwed now. Thank you for the help. Thank you for the amputated feet. And then, of course, 2 years down the road, when I'm telling the story of, yeah, all right, so I needed these special shoes so that I wouldn't get my feet amputated. If I'd had these shoes, I'd be able to walk today. And my friend, knowing that I only had 2 weeks, wants to pretend that she didn't know I only had 2 weeks. Or he wanted to pretend he didn't know I had only 2 weeks. I got recordings with him where you can hear me telling him over and over, I only got 2 weeks. You can hear them saying the words I promised. You can hear them admitting to the things that I said, that I did tell the truth. And here's the evidence that 6 months later, they tried giving me them special shoes and wanted to treat me like shit because I wouldn't put them on the feet that I no longer fucking have. And then when I ask them to speak up about it, well, of course they're not going to speak up about it. Of course they don't want to admit that they were a fucking jackass. Didn't fucking listen. Now you have no feet. And then they were a jackass to you for not having any feet to put the fucking shoes on. And they're going to call you unfucking grateful. You are ungrateful. Those shoes would have done me some good. Now, of course, then there's 2 years after that, those people want to go, you know what, Sean can complain all he fucking wants. He wanted them goddamn shoes. I got him the shoes. Ask him if I got him the shoes. When did you get me the shoes? After I have no feet to put them on. Not only that, you knew there was a 2-week time limit. So after a week and a half, you stopped talking to me. You stopped accepting any calls. You entirely blew me off. No call, no show. Yes, this is an analogy, but it's an analogy that can be applied to nearly every single one of these people. You were gonna. Sure, you were fucking gonna, but did you? Did you? Here's the thing with Kaitlynne Tatum and the only way she was willing to communicate. The frequency with which she would actually pretend I even exist. I mean, a fucking reference. What do you call that? A personal reference or whatever. Shit, that's the least she could have done. You know, at least that is something. At least it's something. At least it's something I could take to the courts, but without Kaitlynne Tatum speaking up or making the calls with me, how do the cops treat me? We've got videos of this and audio recordings of it, haven't we? Or they say, oh, how do we know you didn't write that? How do we know that's not a fake account? Well, fucking get a hold of them, dummy. Try getting a hold of them. But these people want to make it as impossible as they can to get a hold of them. Here's the thing. I admitted to all of my fuck-ups. And I admit to being an asshole to you. Let me tell you something. I saved the evidence of me being an asshole. Because it's true. I didn't start off being an asshole. But look what it took to get your attention. When I asked nicely, what happened? And when I was an asshole on a public post directly on your fucking Facebook, what did you do then? Then you will pay fucking attention. Then you will pretend to give a shit, Kaitlynne Tatum. Then you will pretend to give a shit, Chelsea Aiken. Then you will pretend to give a shit, Danny Francis. Then you will pretend to give a shit. Mostly enough to treat me like shit for doing it that way. Well, I tried it nicely. You showed me you don't fucking care. It's not a big fucking deal. You don't give two shits how many people harm me. You only care that I fucking yell and curse. I didn't start off yelling and cursing, did I? At the very beginning, I was just wanting you to admit the truth. The yelling and cursing is because whether or not that abuse continued or not was on whether or not you came forward and told the truth. Jesus fucking goddamn Christ. Blam, we got rid of another fucking troll. That's the thing, my predators give a shit. My predators give a shit. My predators are actively involved in doing harmful things to me. The repercussions of you not coming forward and not making the simple fucking connections. Simple connections. I'm not somebody who gets a hold of you all the goddamn time whining about my shit. So for the last 6 years, when I have gotten a hold of you whining about my shit, maybe you should have stopped and gone, maybe there's a real fucking problem. Maybe when I was asking you, hey, am I schizophrenic? People are treating me like I'm schizophrenic. You think you would have made the fucking connection between you who knows me and a complete and total fucking stranger slandering my name? My predators made a fucking effort while you sat on your ass and bullshit me because you didn't want it to interrupt your fucking party. Jesus fucking Christ.